Und damit ein herzliches Willkommen zu einem weiteren Part Let's Play Vagrant Order. Ich bin es MC Muffix. Wir befinden uns hier nun auch offiziell in Britannien. Bis dato haben wir es ja noch gar nicht gesehen und bewundern können. Beim letzten Mal sind wir hier im Dorf der Feen gewesen. Diese haben herausgefunden, dass wir ein Mensch sind und da wurden daraufhin zu blutrünstigen Bestien. Unsere namenlose Fee hat uns hier geholfen, das zu verlassen, aber hat sich ebenfalls in ein Moor verwandelt, in ein Monster ohne Hoffnung auf Wiederkehr. Wir konnten sie bezwingen, auch wenn es kein schöner Sieg war, und unsere Freunde hier im Dorf haben sich gegenseitig umgebracht auf der Suche, uns zu fressen. Ich weiß es nicht genau. Auf jeden Fall sind wir hier rausgekommen und haben hier die Hilfe eines gewissen Feenkönigs bekommen, in der Form von Oberon, der auch, zumindest laut eigener Aussage, der einzige Servant ist, der hier beschworen wurde als Schützer der Menschheit. Nun befinden wir uns in Akt Nummer 2, Salisbury. Und wir haben dazu noch Mesh gesehen, die falsche Mesh, die ganz falsche Mesh, die nun Anis heißt und ebenfalls von ein paar nicht so freundlichen Goblins hier begleitet wird. Beautiful, isn't it? This is the center of the British Lost Belt. See that super ominous castle-looking thing over here? That's Camelot. These days, Britain is divided into the north and south regions, and Camelot sits between them. Most people live here in the south and central area. The four main cities in the region are Salisbury, the Great Cathedral, Northwich, the nearest port town, Gloucester, the city of fashion, and Oxford, the great dining hall. Each city is run by the head of the fairy clan. Excuse me, sorry to interrupt, but do you know where Mesh and Da Vinci are? Huh? I see. So there were others from Chaldea with you. I'm very sorry, but you were the only one I managed to find. And as you can see, it's just me right now, so tracking you down was the best I could do. But it leads nicely to my next point. Can you tell me what this mesh of you looks like? As long as I know what she looks like, I can have Blanca look for her. Blanca? Who's that? Didn't you just say you were alone? Ah, right. Here, let me introduce you. Eine Botte. Tritt drauf. Pretty good, right? I talk with her a lot. I guess you could call her my friend? Anyway, she's very neat, very smart, and above all, she's a hard worker. If anyone can track down Mesh, she can. Okay, now that it's settled, how about we start by sharing what we all know with one another? You tell me your story and I'll tell you mine. And you know the rest. Blutrünstige Monster, Verfolgung, das Übliche. I see, so you've conquered 5 Lost Belts thus far. And while you weren't originally planning to come to Britain, you, Mesh, Leonardo and Tristan wound up coming here to investigate this collapse. But then, after the 4 of you landed here, you got separated in the Nameless Woods. That's unfortunate. No, I'm sorry I couldn't be more helpful. I had no idea you weren't the only one lost. If I'd only been more attentive back then, maybe I could have tracked down Mesh and Leonardo as well. But I was so excited about finding you that I forgot all about everything else. So then, where the one I saw at the beach before I lost consciousness? So you were. For the time being, there's one thing we can and should check. Mesh is your contracted servant, right? Then you should have magical energy connection with her. Genau, eigentlich theoretisch mit dem Befehlszauber könnten wir sie auch herzaubern, ne? If it's still active, then we at least know she's alive, even if we don't yet know where she is. How about it? Can you check on that for us? She's alive. What a relief. Great, then all we have to do now is find her. And Leonardo's the servant too, right? Then I'm sure she's just alive and kicking too. Fortunately, the fairies here can't tell the difference between the fellow Fey folks and the servants. So, as long as they're not human, they shouldn't be in too much danger. Let's just stay calm and trust them to handle themselves. Next, Arteria, is there something you'd like to say to me? No, not right now anyway. Honestly, I'm still trying to wrap up my head around everything. I just heard about Chaldea, proper human history, the Lost Belt and so on. Although, getting back to servants, her experience, is that like a human turning into a fairy after they die? And you said, both you and Tristan, I mean, Tristram, nee, jetzt ist es wieder Tristan, are servants yourself? Oh, that's right. If you want to know more about our experts and servants, I'm sure Maxi there will be happy to fill you on the way. Between a resident of this lost belt like you and a master from proper human history who is a guest in this world, you two should be able to catch each other up on almost everything. On the way, you said. Does that mean you have a destination in mind, Oberon? I do indeed. When you're trying to track someone down, a big city is your best bet. Besides, you and Maxi both need to get used to the way things work here in Fairy Britain. So next up is Salisbury, the biggest city in the south. There we'll find food, clothing, shelter, everything we really need. It's just about a full day of work from here. I know you've been up all night, but do you think you can make the trek? We don't have time to sit around and rest. Kann uns auch solche schöne Flügel geben, dann fallen wir immer nicht auf. No, let's not be hasty. I know how you must feel, but like I said, now's the time to take it easy. Remember, Britain's a big place. If you keep pushing yourself so hard, you'll burn out long before you find Mesh. Don't worry. You can tell she's okay because you're her master, right? Well, my own intuition is telling me she's perfectly safe too. And I'm the Fairy King, so that really means something. So let's start with Salisbury and figure out the rest from here. Salisbury, huh? What should I do? It might be kind of dangerous to go back now. But I also can't leave Maxi in to fend for himself. Plus I don't care what this Oberon guy says. He really seems a lot like Merlin. Would it be okay if I come along too, Maxi? I know I mistakenly went by Mesh's name for a while there. But I want to know more about you and about, oh, right, proper human history. Oh, sorry, I just assumed you'd be coming with us. Right, of course not. Oh gosh, what am I even saying? Of course you wouldn't want a country bumpkin like me taking a... You're shaking my hand again? Does it mean it's okay? Of course, I'm glad to have you with us, Altoria. Ich verweigere mich, Alfred zu sagen. Ah, yes. Now that's a lovely friendship. I was definitely on pins and needles back in Cornwall, but it seems not interfering was the right choice after all. In theoretical terms, I believe this is part where we say, now that the actors are in place, the restory can begin. Chaldea alone won't be enough. The Children of Prophecy alone won't get there in time. So we'll need both to defeat the mighty Morgan. The Child of Prophecy. Das, was wir hier in der Legende, die Merlin uns am Anfang hier erzählt hat, aufgesagt hat. Also, immerhin kennen wir schon mal dieses Child of Prophecy. Übrigens, ich finde es aber lustig, dass man das machen kann. Das habe ich irgendwann als letztes herausgefunden. Ui! Komplett sinnlos. Nur gut, dann geht es auf nach Salisbury. Oh, nein! Darf ich Servants hernehmen? Nee. Was? Ich darf eigene Servants hernehmen? Das bin ich nicht gewohnt, liebe Leute. Das bin ich echt eiskalt nicht gewohnt. Und da die Skills von der Customer nicht max sind, kann ich mich gerne haben, Mann. So. Und apropos morgen. Da ist sie, liebe Leute. Spoiler. Das ist gerade schon das einzige große Spoiler. Na gut, weiter geht's. The prophecy was true. The girl is our star of hope. She will be our salvation. She will be our path to forgiveness. She's our savior who drifted to our shores with a ship full of treasure. She's the one who will hear the voice of paradise and chant the promised name. Ah, dear Artoria. May you grow to the age of 16, healthy and strong. May the Queen's soldiers never find you. One day you will go on a journey to ring the 6 bells and save all of Britain. A journey to welcome our true king. Gloucester, Salisbury, Oxford, Norwich, Orkney. We may not know where the 6 bells is, but we are confident you'll find it. The staff for selection has chosen you. You are fairy Britain's only hope. Now go on, hurry, 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 hurry. Hurry and read your 16th birthday. We have completely faith in you. Kein großer Druck, oder? The village is done for. The executioner squads are here. Hold your head high. Grip your staff tight. Now is the time to begin your journey, Artoria. Remember, no matter what anyone says, you're unquestionable the child of prophecy. You're the spitting image of her. Also, der Druck dieser Prophezeiung scheint sie hier ganz schön belastet zu haben. Das war auch der Grund, wieso sie sagt, nee, ich kann sowas nicht und was immer. Sie wurde eben hier auserwählt und mit dem Wunsch, England zu retten. Die sechs Bells, die 6 Glocken hier zu läuten und hier im Endeffekt morgen, so wie es aussieht, die Königin zu stürzen. I'm sorry, I'm so weak. I'm sorry, I can't live up to your expectation. I'll do my best, I promise. As much as I can. Hey, I get it. There aren't many things there cozier than a campfire. Huh? Oh no, was I asleep? I just remember Tristan playing his harp and then... Ah, how this saddens me. I was merely trying to soothe your exhaustion. But I cannot help but notice you don't seem to care for my music, my liege. Maid Artoria. I'm sorry, I'm just not used to hearing music. But it really did help me fall asleep peacefully. I'd love to if you played again when it's bedtime. Ouch, you won't be Maid Artoria. No bard wants to be told his music puts people to sleep. Hey, you can blame me. We've been walking non-stop nearly all day. We are all exhausted. That's why we are camping out here tonight before making our way to Salisbury tomorrow morning. Artoria, you can put up a bonfire to keep wild animals away, right? I hate to ask since I know you're sleepy, but would you mind? Oh, yes, of course. Okay, I'll be back soon. Now then. I know we taught Artoria that proper human history is like a parallel world to Britain, but of course that's not the whole truth, is it? The truth is, proper human history is the rightful historical timeline, and is fundamentally incompatible with this world of fairy Britain. As Chaldea, you have to erase the lost bells to ensure humanity's future. And now you're trying to come up with a way to tell Artoria this without hurting her too badly. I know it's wrong to hide that, but... Kommt nicht so gut an. I see. I suppose you have betrayed the people of 5 lost bells already. Stellt es also böse dar. I usually pride myself at being an excellent conversationalist, but even I'm having trouble coming up with the right words to heal the wounds in your heart. So for now, the best I can do is offer some words of consolation. It's okay, Maxi. The last part won't fall by your hand. Remember, it's falling apart on its own. If anything, I'd say you'll be doing it a favor. A favor? Es kommt mir jetzt aber auch nicht ganz richtig vor. Yes, indeed. Human history simply could not ever prosper in this version of Britain. It's a flawed world that was always destined for destruction. History took a dreadful wrong turn here. The only problem is that it's threatening to take proper human history down within when it goes to pot. And that's why guys like us from proper human history have to do whatever we can to save it. And it means defeating the one who's been ruling it from on high for 2000 years, High Queen Morgan. Hold on, did you say Morgan? As in that Morgan? Yep, that Morgan. The same one who proved to be King Arthur's ultimate Achilles heel in proper human history, even after he united all of Britain. The extraordinary witch who lured King Arthur into countless traps so she could take Camelot for herself. And the mother of Mordred, the treacherous knight, and the child of King Arthur who proved to be his downfall. She's the one who ultimately destroyed Britain, and here she's Fairy Britain's ruler, and she will bring it all to ruin. Let's see. I think you Chaldeans would probably refer to her as this Lost Belt's king. King Arthur's arch enemy here in this Lost Belt. Anyway, based on everything you've told me, it sounds like Morgan's behind the outside world abnormality. So, as long as you can defeat her, that should end the threat to proper human history. After that, you can just leave this place to its fate. Whether it falls apart or pulls itself back together, you won't need to feel bad about it. Look over there. What was it Lost Belt needs to survive again? A tree of emptiness? Well, I'm guessing that World Tree, the giant ash over there beyond the sea, is it? Ach, das ist das, was wir hier im Hintergrund sehen. Da. And as you can see, it's been dead for a long time, so this lost but definitely hasn't got long left. Was it ever on fire at any point? Oh, yeah. Now that you mention it, it was. It went up in the flames not too long ago, then died out again just as quickly as it started. I wonder what that was all about anyway. Anyway, I think that's enough to talk for tonight. Don't want to overdo the infodump. So, even if you don't remember anything else we talked about tonight, at least remember this. Defeat High Queen Morgan, ruler of Fairy Britain. Nice and simple, right? As for the rest, I'll tell you once we reach Salisbury. Once you see the Fey City for yourself, I think you have to much better to handle on what life in Britain is like. Whoops, sorry to interrupt, but we've got monsters. Get ready to fight, Maxie. I'm sorry! I accidentally skipped a couple steps when I was making a bound feet. And I ended up summoning a pack of wild birds by mistake. Could you please help me out, please? I never thought the day would come when my liege would beg me for her. I'm sorry. I keep forgetting she's not King Arthur. I knew. Oh, this is so embarrassing. Even if she's not, I'm still glad to have her around. Me too. It's such an honor that it actually makes me feel sorry for the other Knights of the Round Table. Here they come, be careful, Maxie. Britain's beasts are not to be trifled with. Tja, liebe Leute, ihr wisst schon, wenn man sie nicht besiegen kann, wäre da einer von ihnen. Also, liebe Leute, wir können morgen nicht besiegen, jetzt ist ja unsere Seite. So in etwa. Also, Ladies and Gentlemen, sehr interessant. Im Endeffekt hat er natürlich recht. Wie gesagt, der Tree of Emptiness ist natürlich zerstört. Das bedeutet im Endeffekt, unsere einzige Bedrohung ist halt hier noch der Tree of Emptiness. Verzeihung, die werte Fairy hier. Und wenn die beseitigt ist, sollte das Problem sich hier von alleine lösen. Oh. So. Au. Au. Curse damage, baby, man. Curse damage. So, nettes MP-Spamming übrigens, also. Genau, das MP-Gain, das ist das, was ich auch an einem Video, was ich mal heute Morgen gesagt habe. An sich ist ihr MP-Gain wirklich nicht das Beste, aber der Vorteil ist halt, dass ihr halt diese MP-Gain hat und das natürlich sehr schön auch kompatibel ist mit Castorias MP-Gain-Up. Echt eine sehr, sehr nette Kombi. Also, dann ein letztes Mal Rodres Gamelotto. Wie gesagt, wir schließen uns auf jede Seite, liebe Leute. Die goldene Frage ist natürlich, wie kommen wir an sie? Weil im Endeffekt, das Einzige, wir wissen ja noch immer sehr wenig, es wird ja alles immer so bruchsteinhaft hier erwähnt, aber zumindest wissen wir, dass sie hier die eiserne Führung des Landes ist und sie aber nicht gegen sie aufstehen kann. Yeah, we won. No, we trounced them. Man, that feels good. Ah, this makes me happy. That was the first battle I've won handily since being summoned. Hey, Artoria, are you actually pretty, combative? Oh, not something really. I'm just glad I was able to contribute. I see. So already strong enough to handle a murder of Nightcross without much trouble, Very nice. That's even better than I was expecting. Tristan, your bow may not be particularly strong, but its range is exceptional. You're clearly well suited for battles as long groups. With that on your side, I bet we could win no matter how outnumbered we may be. And as for you, Artoria, you're much more of a wildcat than you look. Is that strange tool of yours handmade? A rare weapon like that will be very effective against an opponent who's never seen it before, especially as a distraction. And above all, your summons are very fascinating, Maxie. Temporarily summoning a rogue spirit to aid in battle, huh? I had no idea it was such a flexible and powerful way to fight. Human magecraft doesn't tend to work well against fairies, but summoning a rogue spirits is definitely an exception. The only problem with it is as long as you can last, given the incredible demands on your stamina, magic energy and sheer luck. Plus, it seems like a longer battle lasts, the more of a toll it takes on you. But as long as you're careful about that, you should be able to handle any one, fairy or not. Wait a moment, human magecraft? You can use magecraft, Maxie? Just barely, thanks to my Mystic code, but yep. Oh gosh, I'm sorry, I was just a little taken aback. You see, magecraft isn't really used much in Britain. Basically, fairies perform sacraments without any help from basic magecraft spells or mystic codes. So magecraft is considered unnecessary at best and only practices by weirdos at worst. In fact, to be totally blunt, if you tell people you use magecraft here, sie nutzt auch Magie, they tend to look at you all funny and ask why you'd go all about the trouble. I see, you do have a point, but fairies simply have no need of magecraft. And since this Britain is a land dominated by fairies, that would mean magecraft is effectively worthless here. So, why do you use it then, Artoria? Oh man, after everything I just said, you really went there, Maxie. No, it was an honest question, Artoria. You know he didn't mean anything by it, right? Anyway, you don't have to answer if you'd rather not. As for you, Maxie, I'd suggest you wait for a better time before bringing this up again. Anyway, I think we might have gotten distracted from our main purpose. Now that we've got this nice camp set up, we should use it to get a good night's rest. I'm sure there's more you'd like to know about Maxie, Artoria, but why don't we save that for tomorrow? Fortunately, there are none of the Queen's soldiers, no Moors and no rebel army around here. And once we wake up in the morning, it's only another hours of work to Salisbury, where we are able to have a much more in-depth conversation. After all, if you're going to have a fun discussion, you should save it for a nice and relaxing place, right? Also, auf nach Salisbury. Da bin ich ja sehr gespannt, weil das war jetzt zwar ein Dorf von Outcast, was wir bis jetzt gesehen haben, aber wie das jetzt hier läuft. Und auch was ich heute interessant finde, also wie gesagt, es gibt da Rebellenarmee, rebellieren die gegen morgen oder wie gesagt, Oberon weist uns da schon hoffentlich gut ein, wie diese Welt hier läuft. And that's the gist of the world up history until 2017. Wow, Satterwells really do exist. England, Scotland, Ireland. Genau, übrigens, Leute, es ist echt nett. Genau, da fahre ich in die 3 Länder. And you said there are other countries beyond the Isle too, like France and Italy? I can't even imagine so many different countries and cultures and people. It sounds like you come from a really wonderful world. Britain's without the fairies, huh? That sounds like a nice change of pace. Well, from where Maxie's sitting, I'd imagine he finds his Britain full of fairies to be quite a change of pace. I do have to correct you on one thing though. It's not that there aren't many fairies at all in proper human history where Maxie comes from. While mystics have definitely faded since the AD era began, fairies are still around. Though of course, there are a few of them and they don't reveal themselves to humans much. Heck, I'm a fairy hero expert myself. Come to think of it, Oberon, aren't you from Shakespeare, genau? A Midsummer Night's Dream. Genau, ein Sommernachtstraum. Right? Written by William Shakespeare, England's greatest playwright, it may well be one of the most famous stories about fairies. It's basically about a love square between humans. But two of the most important characters are Oberon, the king of fairies, and his queen, Titania. In the story, Oberon wants Titania to give him one of her pages. So he hatches a plan involving a potion that will cause the drinker to fall in love with the first living thing they see upon awakening. But two humans end up taking it by mistake, causing them to forget about the person they love and mistakenly believe they're fated to be with someone else. Well, without going into much detail, it all wraps up nicely in the end. It's a sort of comedy of errors focused on love and miscommunication you see everywhere. But unfortunately, for me, it became so popular that it kept being retold for generations. Thanks to that, the word fairy is now synonymous with mischievous Puck and narrow-minded King Oberon. So, at least in one sense, I might be the most famous fairy in the world. If you never read it before, you should give it a shot once you get back to Chaldea. It doesn't paint the most flattering picture of me, unfortunately, but never mind that. And just to be clear, I swear I wasn't trying to make trouble, okay? I'm just a plot device, really, only there to get the romantic hijinks rolling. So then, does that mean you're a fictional character, Oberon? Is it even possible for someone as visually defined as that to become a servant? No, it isn't. William Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream is indeed, no, he is best known. Legends of Oberon the Fairy King have existed in Europe since ancient times. Perhaps most notably, there is a poem about him from the 15th century, well before Shakespearean time, where he is described as a king of fairies who can use magic to make any wish come true. Really? I don't know about that one. The point is, the character was inspired by an existing model, and the model must have become the base for a seventh form. Which came first? Who knows? Just another version of the chicken and egg problem. What about Titania then? Oh, she saw Shakespeare. There are no legends in fairy history of anyone by that name. The name Titania probably came from the Titans of Greek mythology. The Oberon in A Midsummer Night's Dream is pretty self-centered after all. You would never find a lady who'd tolerate him, so Shakespeare had to make one up. But I digress. Sorry for wasting your time. Salisbury is just a pet. Don't worry about the guards, I'll handle them. All you three have to do is stay quiet, it's okay. My face is basically a free pass into the city. Alright, one more thing. Do not tell them your names. If then they ask, you can't avoid answering, make something up. Oh, wir sind wieder Lysander. We don't need anyone else finding out that you're human, and you never know who might be listening. Hold on, isn't it dangerous to lie to fairies? I've heard their eyes can see through falsehoods. If so, should we try to avoid lying whenever possible? Oh, don't worry, the fairies here don't have powers like that. I don't know if they lost them thanks to all this prosperity, bar if they threw them away in order to be prosperous, but either way, they definitely can't tell truth from lies anymore. The only way you can tell if you're dealing with a good person or not is when everything's said and done. How else could someone as evil as Morgan have stayed at top of this world for so long? Na gut, Leute. Und damit sind wir hier im malerischen Salisbury angekommen. Im Gegensatz zu unserem kleinen Walddorf sieht das hier echt beeindruckend aus. Nun gut, Leute, doch bevor wir uns dann hier weiter umschauen mit den netten Fairies hier, ob vom Erd oder von welchem Clan auch immer, machen wir erstmal einen kleinen Cut und beim nächsten Mal geht's weiter mit Let's Play Fake Order. Vielen Dank fürs Zuschauen und bis zum nächsten Mal. Ciao!